And here we have Nyx. I'm super excited to be meeting with you tonight
Thank you.
and chatting about artistry.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
tell me, what is it about dance that makes you feel most artistic or powerful or passionate, maybe even?
I would say the fact that it's a reflection of yourself, whether or not people realize it. When I started dancing, is this my 12th year? Oh Lord, it's my 12th year, I think. Oh boy.
Ooh, congrats. That's
Yes, I'm
that's
like,
kind of a milestone.
oh my gosh. But 12 years ago, if you told me that I was going to be performing, I would have laughed. I would have been, there's no way. I was only learning to belly dance because it was a reward for myself for getting in my chosen career. And next thing I know, I'm joining the what would eventually become the Stygian Collective. We were the Stygian sisters back then. And it was great because not only did it give me something to do, something that was creative, but it made me realize that I can be goth and metal and alternative in my everyday life too. Before I was dancing, I I had been goth before, but after college I had toned it down for professional reasons,
Right.
my career.
As
But I
we all
felt,
ha tend to
oh,
have to do.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Thankfully, a lot of that is changing now, but back then that was
Right.
not the case, especially in some of the more conservative fields. But I realized I'm like, I felt so powerful whenever I was on stage and I was in my black lipstick, my dark eyes, dark lips, all of this leather and chains and spikes. And the fact that I was able to make all of these expressions and everything else. It was like, am I just channeling these emotions that I'm hearing in the music? Or is this also a way for me to express myself and my frustrations and my aggravations and whatnot? So, in a way, you could say it's kind of therapeutic. So, I kind of went that route, and I realized in my everyday life, when I wasn't dressed similarly like that, it was like night and day. And I'm like, why? What is actually keeping me from dressing the way I want to? What is keeping me from doing the makeup the way I want to? What is keeping me from having the attitude I want to have while still also being
Within your professional
approachable?
boundaries.
Yes. Because there's some things you can say and do on stage that you sure can't do in the workplace. But,
Indeed.
right? Because we need jobs to pay bills. Um, but that kind of made me wonder and think, I'm like, you know what? Let's try this. So I started kind of creeping in all of like my gothic aesthetic. And I still remember the first time I showed up to work after I'd had like this tattoo done. I was working in a newsroom at the time, and my general manager, the studio manager, popped over and just kind of looked down at my arm, looked at me, and just went, okay, and then left me be. Nothing else was ever said.
And like the freedom and the weight lifted.
Oh yeah, I
I
actually
love
was
that.
known for my look after that. Like I would pop up in the backgrounds of so many Facebook Lives that our meteorologists were doing or that our anchors were doing, that it was kind of like the Where's Waldo for our viewers. They're like, where's the goth?
I love it.
Who's the goth? Where's the goth and whatnot? Like if they saw a pointy umbrella walking across the parking lot, it was me.
I love that.
Yeah, it was just so well known.
I love that. I very much feel the same about my experience with dance as well. I feel like in many ways it forced me to like push past a lot of self-sabotaging ways to like
Hmm.
embrace the real me inside that I always tend to like shame myself out of being.
Yes. Yes. I come from a family where I was raised Catholic, and that already has a lot of connotations.
Irish cat.
And being proper and being that and all the fun stuff. And I'm like, I just want to scream sometimes. And in metal music, guess what? In fact, my most recent performance I did on stage in Chicago, I was portraying the Irish goddess on Morrigan. And I hadn't intended on doing this, but at one section of the piece, I just screamed at the end. It was like at the end of like the battle section I had deemed. And it was just one of those of like utter frustration because like that's kind of like the mentality that if I am portraying her as like I'm portraying a character on stage, I would have absolute frustration at this point of like you of like, oh my gosh, Cullen, you need to listen. I'm trying to help you, my man. I'm trying to help you. And he's like, nope. I'm like, oh yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. Thank you
That
so
is,
much for sharing with us and everybody else that's about to catch in with this. I feel like a lot of people get scared to embrace their art
hmm.
for fear of rejection because who's not afraid of being rejected, right?
I would point
Um,
out that, but sometimes it's fun to be a little scared because you don't know what you're capable of unless you actually do it. If you'd asked me years ago if I would perform, hell no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would have bet you all of my life savings that I would never step foot on stage if you'd asked me years ago. I was too self-conscious. I was like, not me. I don't have anything that anyone wants to see. You have no idea what your art, what your creativity can give for somebody else. I think perhaps the best compliment I ever received, and one that still brings tears to my eyes to this very day when I think about it, was a Fusion Evolution several years ago. I did a piece based on my mental health journey. And I had gone through a rather horrific thing. And I realized finally, after I could explain it to somebody without shedding a tear, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to actually put this into choreography. And I did everything on stage. I had soundscaped the entire piece, I had choreographed it and whatnot. And at that Fusion Evolution, there was always a bartender by the name of Jack. We always would say, remember to tip your bartender Jack in the back. So he was very well known. I, in fact, did a call out to him on one of my later choreographies, also at Fusion Evolution. But
love that.
Jack beckoned me over and he said, what you just did up there, if anybody's ever having any problems describing what their mental health situation is like and they're struggling, all they need to do is just watch that. And you've explained everything beautifully. You have no idea what you've done. And I was like, oh my God.
Right. How beautiful is that to have
Right.
spoken?
It's you never have any idea how much you can actually help somebody because you may be the physical manifestation of their thoughts that they can't put into words.
Yes.
So
So
unless you
much, yes.
try,
Like
yeah.
how many other dancers have done that for you?
Oh
Like
gosh, I can
like
name
a
so many.
million. Ebony.
Ebony,
Like
Ariella, Rachel Bryce,
okay, yes.
like
Zoe, Drake.
Drake, Kamra, Diana, like so many.
So
And
many.
like, I thank them for being brave enough to put on stage like performances that they probably never dreamed that they would do.
Yes.
Thing
Oh,
is,
Michelle
good.
Sorensen too. Can I give like a big shout out to her because I imagine
Yes.
like, oh my God, the way that she embraces fusion across the board, big inspiration for people like me who often embrace fusion like across the
Oh
board.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like and the way that she often embraces just speaking your full truth. Like there's
Agreed.
so many times she's taken the words right out of my mouth.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree. But I bet you anything they had no idea what they would be doing in their younger years. And I also bet you anything that they critique the ever-loving bejesus out of themselves, which
Yep.
is something that I do. But I also know that sometimes perfect can't happen because you can only give your 100% of that day. If you're running on 100% every single day, honey, you are just lying to yourself and you will
And
hit
probably
burnout.
abandoning yourself in so many areas of your life that you probably should not be. I
Hmm.
think that's a hard lesson that we all have to kind of learn and go through in this process as well.
Don't let your passion be the cause of your burnout because you will grow to resent your passion. And then what do you have left?
Yep, 100%. 100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think a lot of people are gonna have a lot to gain, honestly, from what you've shared. And I know what you're sharing is speaking to me wholeheartedly. So there, I imagine there's plenty out there that are going to appreciate it as well.
I hope so. I mean, you never know until you try. And I found Daywin on a whim 12, 13 years ago out of a recommendation. And I walked in to her first one-on-one class and I was like, there is no way in hell I am out of my depth. And yeah, here I am.
Right, right. And I mean, even us too, like us meeting before day one
Yeah,
and then like mate also me finding Mama Stygian on a whim
yeah.
and then us reconnecting that way. Like
Mhm.
sometimes the universe and embracing your artistry really helps you find like your community. Like the
Mhm.
people that when you're speaking and you're constantly feeling unheard in a lot of rooms, like this might very well be that room that you feel the most hurt in. I
Yeah.
know I have felt very misunderstood in very many grand places throughout the years and walked
Hmm.
right into Stygian and felt like everybody gets it and you can't
Hmm.
explain it, but we all get it.
There's sometimes you don't even need to even open like your mouth. There's times I've had entire conversations just with like eyes alone with like fellow Stygians.
Yep, true that, wholeheartedly. Well, thanks, Boo. I will not take up much more of your time. Thank you for sharing with us, and I hope to meet with you again soon. I won't lie, small little plug or seed planted there.
Hmm.
Daywin and I are trying to manifest a podcast, and I
Oh,
feel
okay.
like um, that's something that you also would enjoy participating in as well, and would probably love running with as well a bit. So I'm
Good.
thinking that we might start breaking a little bit into the podcast world and continuing conversations like these for other people who might not always have the time or feel the most comfortable attending, but need to
Hmm.
know what they don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know until you know.
Agree. Totally agree.
No show. All right. Thanks, Bo.
Thank you.
And have a great night.
Thank you. You too. See ya.